Outside of hits and trick goals by forwards and defensemen, there is no doubt that a spectacular save can be a cause to end up being one of the most spectacular plays of any hockey game.
And away goes Mikko Rantanen to the inside of the back.
After all, playing goalie can be the hardest job in sports, and here are 10 saves, where it happened at an elite level in the 2022 Stanley Cup. Save number 1 happened in Game 6, which is what turned out to be the deciding game in the series, when it looked like Linda of Colorado had an easy chip-in right in front of the net, but Vasilevsky had other ideas which helped Tampa Bay maintain their 1-0 lead.
Cogliano back in the lineup, just going to the net, taking away any chance.
Despite it being about 3/4 of the way through the first period, this was only Tampa Bay's 6th shot on goal for the game.
Right on the doorstep, best stop for Vasilevsky.
For number 2, this save wasn't as spectacular as it was clutch. Why? It was literally just as the horn was going off, signifying the end of the second period, as Vasilevsky was able to catch it with his chest despite being screened by 2 Lightning and 2 Avalanche, helping Tampa Bay maintain their 1-0 lead heading into the third period.
Time for a shot. Vasilevsky the save at the horn.
Number 3 was early in the third period of Game 6 when Nikita Kucherov accepted a pass and then rifled a wide-open shot that was rejected by Kuemper for one of his 22 saves for the game, but was still enough to ultimately win the Stanley Cup.
Kuemper has that best chance on.
For number 4, we have another save by Vasilevsky, which came out about halfway through the first period of Game 5 when number 92 got the puck off a rebound, but Vasilevsky was able to trap it, keeping the game scoreless, a game which Tampa Bay ultimately won 3-2.
There's a shot almost off the stick of Vasilevsky.
While it did keep Tampa Bay from scoring, it did result in a Colorado penalty for interference.
On the ice. I don't think that this really impacted the game.
For number 9, we have Tampa Bay's Alex Killorn coming up the side in Game 4, a play which looked like he was going to be able to flip it past Kuemper, which is another goal which potentially could have made it 2-0 Tampa Bay early in the second period. Moving on to number 10, we have, which in a sense was a clutch save by Vasilevsky for the sake of Tampa Bay's penalty-killing stats, as Colorado's power play was expiring with just over 6 minutes left in the second period in Game 4 of the Stanley Cup.
Best to not fall for the genjutsu of bowling pin colliding.
For number 11, we have another save, and this one was truly clutch and could have been a huge game-changer by Tampa Bay, as Ross Colton was in perfect position to receive a pass to go 5-hole on Kuemper. But Kuemper was able to snag the puck as time expired in the second period and kept the Avalanche deficit 2-1.
Fans got rushed, had no answer, and the Avalanche...
For number 12, we have another double save. After all, the rebounded saves are the most exciting, right? After Vasilevsky knocked the first shot off his pad, Tampa Bay left winger Nicholas Paul was able to get the puck lifted back toward the net, but Kuemper was able to show his magic once again and was a contributing factor in sending Game 4 to overtime. At one point during the series, the Tampa goalie was able to stop 12 breakaways out of 13.
Magnificent performance all night long. Vasilevsky got invited to a fraternity.
For number 12, Colorado right winger Logan O'Connor could have put the game away, but Vasilevsky was able to continue his baseball-like glove work for his 29th save. Vasilevsky seemed to be at a little advantage when it came to breakaways, as he had been able to stop 12 out of 13 breakaways for the playoffs up to that point.
Kinds of room in the neutral zone as Colorado's changing, and he wins.
Moving on to 13, we have yet another play by Vasilevsky in Game 4 in overtime, as he had to dive as the opposing Colorado player had to practically hurdle a Colorado defender, but the Tampa Bay goalie was still able to catch it, keeping overtime alive for the Lightning. Unfortunately, they weren't able to completely shut out Colorado in overtime, and was a game that they lost 3-2 with just under 8 minutes left in overtime.
Rolling off the post for Kucherov.
In Game 3 of the Stanley Cup, which is number 14, Kuemper was only given a couple of minutes to catch his breath, as he had to make consecutive saves just over 2 minutes into the first period, the second being from point-blank range, keeping the game scoreless.
I didn't even get to introduce the goalies, and Tampa's already leading 1-0.
For number 15, we have Vasilevsky saying anything you can do, I can do better. Again on a rebound, and fortunately for him, he was able to get it to one of his teammates in a hurry and kept Game 3 tied at 0. For number 16, we have JT Compher, who managed to beat all the Tampa Bay defenders and get rid instead of Vasilevsky. But as we've seen before, that does not stop him from being able to make a play, and is something he does once again with his glove and keeping the game 6-2 Tampa Bay, which turned out to be the game's final. After this shot, Tampa Bay was outshooting Colorado 8-3 for the period. For number 17, we will go down to Game 2, where Vasilevsky once again does his usual magic with the breakaway when the Colorado player beats the entire Tampa Bay defense. But Vasilevsky was able to use his entire 6-3 frame to block the net and keep the puck from going in the net.
Dying seconds, Burakovsky, gets in all.
For number 18, we will have to go later into Game 2, one where Colorado had better chances scoring as they already were up 4.
Going in the offensive zone, instead, again,
0, despite taking only 15 shots about 15 minutes into the second period when it appeared Nichushkin for Colorado had everybody beat. But Vasilevsky had the quicker reflex, keeping the game 4-0 Colorado and forcing a face-off. Colorado eventually finished the game beating Tampa 7-0 in Game 2. Moving on to number 19, Nichushkin is once again wreaking havoc on the Lightning defense as Vasilevsky has to once again knock back his shot and was able to get the puck deflectee in such a state that ended up in Tampa Bay's offensive zone. For number 20, we are going to go back to Game 1, where Vasilevsky made one of the first saves against the Stanley Cup, another play which was a play where Mikko Rantanen managed to get ahead of everyone and faced Vasilevsky point blank, but it all proved to be for nothing. He was able to stop the shot to force a face-off barely more than a minute into Game 1.
And here it bounces off of Ryan McDonough's skate.
Moving on to number 21, we have Nichushkin getting a double shot on Vasilevsky, a save in which he had to use lightning-quick reflexes to keep the game at 3-1 Colorado, despite there being 2 Lightning around the net.
Block shots, an indication of their desire to win another.
For number 22, we have Nathan MacKinnon, who managed to steal the puck, and it looked like he was going to be able to slip one past Vasilevsky, but he managed to anticipate and keep the game tied at 3. Despite the fact he was already working on his 29th save of the game with 8:55 left in the game, and it proved to be a key save as Game 1 ended up going into overtime.
It comes to Sergachev and Hedman in deep.
Lastly, for number 23, we have the last save of Game 1, which was then rebounded by Vasilevsky, as he makes the mistake of keeping the puck in play, and unfortunately, Colorado got the rebound and resulted in an overtime goal, making the Avalanche game 1 victors 4-3.